Shalom. We the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out to preach the downfall of this wicked kingdom and to let you Negroes, not the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans know that we the Israelites and God's chosen people according to the Bible. And who y'all ignorantly call Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai, he only came to die for his people and none else. And nobody else has repentance but his chosen people. But before that, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. We want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, rule well, and the truth through the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And we want to give double honor to the,
Shout out, salutations to the Akim, teaching in truth and sincerity, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth.
We're the Philadelphia Camp GMS. The end is near too, located on between 3rd and 4th on South Street. But yeah, we're gonna get right into it.
All right, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 4. It says, "Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doeth never go forth, for the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth."
See, right now, just because the wicked is getting what appears to be free reign to do what they want to do, it appears as though they're getting beyond and they're getting above the righteous. But come time of the judgment, everything is going to come full circle, and they're going to get what they got coming to them. Because right now, they are above us right now in society-wise. They're above us, but in reality, they're not. And when Yahweh, who people call God, and Yahweh Shai, people even call Jesus Christ, when Yahweh gives that order, Yahweh Shai, to come back, he gonna make it right, and he gonna put everybody in the places that they're supposed to be in. And the wicked are going to go back in subjection where they're supposed to be, under everybody else.
This is Job chapter 14, verse 5. It says, "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. God has appointed his bounds that he cannot pass."
So the wicked, what they can do is already set. What they do is already set. They can't, and it's already, what they can do is already set. And they can't reach beyond what they can reach beyond. And when they reach that point, they're going to be cut off. Because right now they think since they had Israel in slavery all these years, and it appears as though they're getting away with what they're doing, it's going to go on forever, and there's no limit to what they're doing. But the scriptures say in Revelation, their iniquities have reached to the heavens. It reached all the way to Yahweh, to his throne. And he's going to send his son back to put an end to this. This kingdom is not going to go on forever. It's going to be brought down like every other kingdom that's been before this one.
In the book of Job, chapter 20, starting at verse 4. "Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment."
The triumphant of the wicked is short. Now, the Lord in the scriptures, roughly paraphrasing, to say 1,000 years is one day. Is one day to Yahweh. It's one day in heaven. So they're ruling right now what appears to be like to us a long time, but in the grand scheme of things, when we get our power back and we get those eternal bodies, we're going to rule. We're going to rule forever. Our kingdom is never going to fall. So what it seems like they're ruling for a long time right now, it's going to be nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's not even going to be like a dot.
Well, the scriptures say that their rule is only going to be for a small season. The devil, after 1,000 years, which that 1,000 years was basically during the so-called Byzantine Empire, and the word Byzantine, when you look it up, it means backwards, and there was nothing backwards about our people, okay? Back during that time, we ruled in righteousness, but we started going off at the ladder. But during that time, Esau was in subjection. But after that point in time, when he was to come back upon the earth to rule, it was only supposed to be for a little season. And that's the time we're in right now, a little season. If you really want to get technical, they've only been ruling for like half a day, about 400 some odd years, if I'm not mistaken. We've been in this captivity. So about the same time we were in subjection in ancient Egypt, it's the same time we've been in subjection in this setup.
And who are the hypocrites? Who are the hypocrites? The Edomites, the so-called white man who's really red. They're the hypocrites setting these crazy laws that they don't even follow themselves. Like you got laws that they'll set, but it seems like it's only for the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It's only for them. It's not for everybody else. Because you got laws that Jacob break, and he'll get thrown under the jail. But if the so-called white man, the Edomites, if they break that same law, they'll get away with it scot-free. It don't matter if you are a cop or if you're a regular person. Chances are you're going to get away with that scot-free, especially if you committed it against a so-called nigger. Because society, it wasn't built to help us. It wasn't built to help out the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It wasn't built to protect us. It was built to keep us down and to keep the wicked above us.
It's 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. It says, "Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean things, and I will receive you."
We're supposed to come from out underneath them. We're not supposed to be hand in hand with them. Every time we do, you can see what happens. Like in look at the Native Americans, right? Zechariah 5:1. Like the Native Americans, they decided to go hand in hand with these devils. They brought them over here. They took care of them. They showed them how to survive in these lands. They taught them how to take baths. They taught them how to grow crops. They taught them how to make clothes. They taught them how to make medicine by the land. They turned that upside down, made that wicked, turned it into witchcraft, and then they turned around and stabbed them in the back. That's why the scriptures say, "Come apart from them." We're not supposed to be with these devils. That's why he split everything up. That's why we all supposed to have our own land. We're not supposed to be linked up with these animals and their dog hair.
This is Proverbs 11 and 21. It says, "Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered." So it says, Proverbs 11 and 21, "Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished." So like right now, you have the so-called, the people on the sign, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whereas, a melting pot, so to speak, in America. But, all the atrocities that were done to the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Negroes and Latinos that have been swept under the rug, that people put in their subconscious mind or whatever, the back of their head, that they try and erase out of history, through the so-called white man's miseducation and school system, all that stuff, the Most High doesn't forget anything.
Oh, you did? That was, I did that like, what is it, 10 years ago now? Oh,
First Thessalonians 23. So basically, it says, "Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished." So though all these things are happening, are being covered up or whatever, the Most High is gonna recompense that wicked act that was done to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, the Most High doesn't forget. He doesn't have a short, attention span or a bad memory, like how our people have. The Most High is not, he can't be bought off. You know what I mean?
And he can't be exploited either.
It says, It's 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 6. It says, seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. All right, so there you go. It says that it is a righteous thing to recompense them that trouble you. Like the so-called white man likes to try and postulate the fact that it's wrong to pay back. But when, just say, for example, case in point, when the so-called 9/11 happened, didn't he want to go over there and justify bombing them back? Didn't when the Pearl Harbor, so-called Pearl Harbor attack happened, didn't he want to justify and go over there and drop atom bombs on those people in cities that weren't not military bases, I might add, breaking the so-called his own treaties, the laws of war and all that stuff like that, and the list goes on and on and on. So it says, seeing it as a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. So it's not wicked to pay back. Just like it says in Revelations 13, 9 and 10. It says, matter of fact, give me Numbers 35 and 33. Numbers 35, 33, and then Revelation 13. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, give me the law too. Exodus 21 and 16.
Exodus 21:16. So which one did you want first?
Numbers real quick.
Numbers? Alright. Numbers chapter
33, 35. I'm sorry, 35.
I've got it.
500-pound chick.
Alright. Numbers 35 and 33.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 35 and verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. And
it says for blood defileth the land. If you get this sign out right here. It said, read it again,
God.
35.
I got it. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land.
Yeah, it says, this sign right here, it says, did you forget what the white man did? It said the Most High did not. So that's what we're saying. Look at this. You got so-called Native Americans. That's it says Homeland Security fighting terrorism since 1492. So you have government agencies like the Department of Homeland Security. But the fact is, this wasn't the so-called white man's land. This is stolen land. There's no way you can get around it. There's nothing you could say to get around the fact that you stole this land from the so-called indigenous people that was here. You gave them smallpox, put them on reservations to this day. You know what I mean? You put them in you put the so-called Latinos in burials. You say that they should be go back to Mexico when in fact this was their indigenous land. You got them going to South America, Central America, killing these people, subjugating them. It says, you remember Wounded Knee. That's just one thing where you had indigenous massacres of the so-called Native Americans. So like I'm saying, sitting smallpox.
They got the Trail of Tears. Yeah, Christopher Columbus came over here and fucking gave us blankets full of fucking smallpox, man.
To us? What's your nationality, bro?
I'm Cherokee and Chippewa.
So you want to sign?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down the Appalachian Trail.
So which one would you pick?
I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure my fucking, definitely not fucking, but I'm pretty sure my nationality came from the Jewish people. I'm not sure how we got there.
What did you point to there out? Gad, yeah, he would be a Gadite. What did you say your nationality was?
Cherokee and Chippewa.
Cherokee and Chippewa? Yeah, those were like, I say, the third or fourth generation of Gad that was on this land. You see what I mean? And us here, we teach that the father is the progenitor, so your nationality comes through the father. So if your father was Native American, that means you're Native American.
My dad and his mother and his father were both two different tribes.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so-called Native American, not because in truth you're not a Native American. The word America literally means bitter.
Well, it means it came from Americo Vespucci.
Vespucci, you hear that?
Fucking Spaniard.
There you go. And better yet, and the Spaniards too, you can even go in the scriptures and find this. showing you that Esau liked to steal people's heritage. They come from a people known as Tarshish. That's where the Spanish come from. See what I'm saying? And that Spanish language, that's a bastard language.
Yeah, it takes Latin and shit.
Yeah,
It's hard when you're that age. All right, cut. But yeah, like
I thought it was going to be
you said
over
you
in
want
an
to
episode
see
or two. No, I'm saying I still got the 2016.
Okay, did you want me to finish this one that I was in Numbers? Fine. Yeah. This is Numbers chapter 30. 35.
Hold on, one more thing. But you will be, according to the Bible, you will be an Israelite. Meaning that you will be an Israelite. Wait, what do you say?
Well, I only know their politics nowadays.
No. You're talking about you're probably thinking about Israeli.
Yeah.
We're talking about
that's
Israel. Like the Israeli, they're Edomites, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right? I mean, the thing is, you gotta realize is, like according to the scriptures, Israel is a people before their place. So, like, you know how the Native Americans, in truth and reality, they were really the people of America. But then, you know, what we refer to in the Bible as Edomites. That's where the Caucasians or so-called white people come from, right? They basically came into this land and took over the identity of being Americans or whatever, like this is their land. But in Israel, the same thing like happened. So that's what he's trying to basically say is they're not the biblical Israelites according to the Bible. They basically came over to that land and took it over through the 1948, the Balfour Declaration and all that. And they took over so that they're the people taking on identity as Israelis and Jewish people, but they're not the original people of that land.
So they're stealing heritage.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that's fucked up.
identity.
The reason why this is important is because the people on the sun, contrary to popular belief, these are the only people who these are the so-called names. These are the only people that who they call Jesus Christ came to die for. He didn't come to die for everybody.
Yeah, the Catholic Church came and fucked all that shit up.
But they mess up because when you go to John 3:16 and they say he gave his son, he gave his only begotten son to the world. Now when since the Bible was translated from Hebrew, Greek, and Latin, when you go into that word world, it's not the definition isn't the world meaning the entire planet. It's talking about a specific group of people, which are the Israelites.
But now with that being said, we're gonna get into prophecy real quick. I wanted to give you a scripture in the book of Matthew to show you that we're that people that's on this sign.
This is Matthew chapter 11, verse 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force.
And so when Esau came to this land, right? Like you just said, Christopher Columbus came here. He talking about he discovered the land, but there was already people on this land. How do you think he was able to actually talk to the indigenous people on this land? He had slaves on his ships that spoke Hebrew. You see what I'm saying?
The reason why he got here is because he had the
The scriptures, right?
So he used because they had directions in it. How to get here. That's how he got here.
That goes back to the book of Enoch and all that shit.
The book of Enoch. We not behind that.
That's super.
But the word apocrypha means sent away hidden.
Yeah,
In the Greek, hidden books. But you had a scripture you said you want us to go into. Earlier. You had yours up?
26, 20.
Did you want me to finish the one in Yeah, he wanted me to finish the one in 33 and Slocky 35 and 33.
So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
Yeah, so it's saying blood defiled the land. Talking about, we're talking about America. This is actually a law. It's the book of Genesis, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That makes up the Torah. So these are the laws. The 600.
That's what makes up the Torah.
Yeah, the 613 laws that are in the scriptures. The moral laws, the dietary laws, and the ceremonial laws, the dietary laws, and then you have the So all right, so you have the ceremonial laws, the moral laws, and then the dietary laws. That's what makes up the 613 laws. So what it's saying right here is, it's saying if you murder, because there's a difference between killing and murder. Like killing is if I go and you see, if like there's certain laws that are like capital punishment.
It can be justified by karma if you understand the root purpose of it all.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking specifically about
Like if me and him get into a fight and I kill him, that's
just
well,
cause.
that's
right.
no, I mean, depending on what it is.
What it
Like,
is, right?
If I'm walking down a block and he just starts to fight with me, and then we get into a fight, he dies in the fight.
Let me ask you guys a question. Isn't that from King David on your?
No, that's paleo Hebrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first thing written on the fucking walls that they had to.
Right. It was written on the. It was also written on the stones that a lot of the so-called Native Americans had too, and they knew the name. When you go into Mexico and you look into certain places in Mexico among where the Aztecs dwelt, you will actually see pyramids there, and there's Paleo Hebrew written on those pyramids, showing you that they are Jake, they are Hebrews. You see what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go follow these bones. Much love, guys. Much love.
All right, don't forget what we told you though.
Never. I'll come on.
Yo, he was getting that shit. I'm like, yo, I'm like, yo, I went to
good.
execute there earlier.
Exactly. Oh man, yeah,
Yeah, like this dude. I mean, you would probably think, you would probably think just looking at him that he's a Edomite, but he like listened to what we were saying, so like the scriptures say, try the spirit by the spirit. He was there listening and stuff, but then you had them Edomite dudes he was with. They was like, oh man, what they say? Don't listen to
He
them.
said, "Fuck them, don't listen to
Yeah,
them."
he said, shut the fuck up. These are my people.
Whatever they tell you, don't believe them. That's the devil.
That's the devil. Yeah, but that's what he was put on this earth to do, to deceive. That's why he's called the devil. The word devil means deceiver, man. And again, in the book of Matthew, what did he do? He basically took the kingdom by force, which again goes back to prophecy. And also, he's going to be destroyed for that because according to the law, once again, I'm going to read it. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 35, verse 33. It reads, So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
Yeah, so basically what we're saying is that, that's the law. It's saying that basically whoever sheds blood, their blood has to be shed in order to basically make things right, so to speak. So you got to ask yourself, like we're saying, whose blood was shed on this land? You have the Native Americans, the Latinos, and the so-called Negroes, blood that was shed on this land. So the Most High requires that blood back in order to make things right.
Right, yeah.
So can you get
Yeah, the Proverbs.
Exodus 21:16, and
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in Revelation 13 and 16. I just read that, the Exodus, and then read Revelation 13 and 16.
Alright, and you said you wanted wisdom song.
This is Exodus 21 and 16. And I was actually going to go here too.
Go for it.
Not for this, but I'm still in Exodus 21 and 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
And that's really slavery at the end of the day. Stealing a man. See what I'm saying? Look at that. That's called kidnapping. When you steal a man. You see that? Read that again.
Yeah,
this is according to the law.
This is an illustration of what's going on right here. Read again.
Read that again. Yeah, kind.
This is Exodus 21 and 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
Yeah, it says, he that stealeth a man. And this picture right here is showing the slave auction blocks. Right here, this is showing the transatlantic slave trade. You know what I'm saying? We had the Ishmaelites selling us to the so-called Grecians, so bringing us to America. It said, he that stealeth a man, all right? And slavery is that's kidnapping somebody and bringing them to another land, separating them from their family, all that, selling them off. That's stealing a man. It says, he that stealeth a man and be found in his hand shall surely be put to death. So that's what the Lord requires for slavery. Contrary to, letting bygones be bygones and forgetting everything.
And slavery is coming back in a big way too for these Edomites, man. Slavery is coming back in a huge way. All right? When this setup goes down, a lot of people are going to be put to death. But you're going to have people that are preserved.
Why? To become our slaves. They're going to build up our places of dwelling. Okay?
This is Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Yeah, that's talking about being able to hear, perceive, understand.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
And who led who into captivity? Salakia.
Yeah, it says, yeah. So I read it.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Yeah, he that leadeth into captivity, and what, like I said earlier, wasn't the so-called Negroes led over here in cargo slave ships to America to serve slavery? So it said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. What is captivity? Captivity is slavery. So the people that led our people in slavery, they're going to be put into slavery. And there's plenty of, Lord's will, we'll get into, we'll show and prove those scriptures to back up through the scriptures what we're talking about.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Yeah, he that killeth with the sword, talking about, the so-called white man, Edom, Esau, according to the Bible, he killed with the sword. He threw us over, off the slave ships. You know what I mean? He beat us to death. He lynched us. He burned us. He maimed us. You know what I mean? He cut off our feet. He raped our women. Yeah, sold our, had our children as alligator bait. Killed the so-called Native Americans. He mutilated them. He did all kinds of sport out of, mutilating our people and abusing our people. So the Most High is saying that he's going to be recompensed for that.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such that have afflicted him. Salakia, let me read that again. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness.
All right, about the chair. It says Zechariah 5:1. So Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
Now that flying roll right there is talking about, it's not talking about a pastry in the skies flying around, right? It's not talking about a pastry flying around, or it's not talking about a Danish or a donut just floating in the sky. It's talking about what y'all ignorantly call UFO. But it's really an IFO because it's identified. And according to the scripture, it's really the chariots of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the chariots of Israel. Keep going.
It says, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits.
So it was a big ship. A big ship.
Yeah, I was gonna say cubit is basically an ancient measurement from your fingertip to about your forearm. So it says 20 cubits. You know what I mean? Just imagine 20 cubits long, and the breadth is like the width. That's like another term for width. So you know what I mean? Those dimensions. That's big. That's like if you look at the size of a car, it's saying just like, well, you can imagine 20 cubits long and 10 cubits wide. That's big. Alright, so verse 3. It says, then said he unto me, this is a curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it.
Everyone that steals is going to get cut off. And it's not talking about stealing Snickers or stealing some food from the store, stealing some jeans, stealing time at work, stealing a bottle of water, something like that just to get by. It ain't talking about that. This is talking about a major thief that's going to be stealing. This is talking about a major thief, like somebody who's stealing people. That's what it's talking about. A major thief, somebody who steals people, somebody who's stealing lands, somebody who's stealing heritage, right? That's what it's talking about right here. Go ahead.
It says, I think it was reading verse 3. It says, it's verse 4. It says, I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name.
Now who's now they said him that stealeth. When I said when I just said it was talking about a major thief. Now that goes into what it just said right there in verse 4. He's going to go into the house of the thief. And what's the house of the thief? That's Great Babylon, America. That's the house of the thief. Because you got the Edomites, the so-called white man that stole this land from our people, which are the so-called Native Americans. That's who they stole this land from. That's why this is the house of the thief. This is where the Edomites dwell, the land that they stole. This is their main camp. This is their main camp, their main land that they stole.
It says, and it shall remain in the midst of his house. And it's Zechariah 5 and 4. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it,
by him who swear falsely by my name, right? They going over here doing all these wicked things, stealing land, invading countries, identity theft, murdering Jake, and then they like to say, in God we trust, swearing by his name, falsely.